Hi, welcome back to another Crypto Dave video. It's Monday morning, which means another staking and masternodes update video. And before we jump into the results for the previous week, just a couple of announcements for a couple of coins that we're currently staking or running masternodes for, and that's Syndicate and Nav. They've both announced sort of their plans going forward over the next few months, and there's going to be some changes to the way things work, so I just want to make people aware of those. So firstly, Syndicate, so starting from block 300,000, the seesaw algorithm will be removed. So that's the algorithm at the moment that adjusts the amount of coins going to stakers and masternode holders according to how many people are running masternodes and how many people are just staking. It's currently around, I think it's around sort of 63% to masternodes. So that's going to be adjusted up to 70%. So there'll be a fixed amount, 70% for masternodes, 30% for stakers. And there's also going to be some changes, as you can see here, going forward in both the amount of coins you need to set up and run masternodes, and also the amount of syndicate or syncs released per block. So from 300,000 to 386,400, we're going to be getting 9 syndicate per block. That's about a 2-month period, and that will be obviously 70% for masternodes and 30% for stakers. The masternode collateral will stay the same, but then going forward from 386,400, there will only be 8 syncs per block produced, and the masternode collateral will go up to 10,000, and then at these future dates it will go up to 15,000, 20,000 and 25,000 requirement to run a masternode, and the amount of syndicate per block is going to be reduced bit by bit, so from 9876 and then down to 5, which will probably arrive in about 10 months, something like that from here. So some quite big changes. They weren't voted on by the community, which I thought that most changes going forward would be. So it'll be interesting to see how this affects things. They want to reduce the speed of kind of supply. To be honest, I'm not sure how this will kind of pan out. Obviously they don't want the inflation, which is kind of pushing down kind of prices, but I think, you know, everything's been pushed down in this kind of bear market, and people who are jumping into kind of masternode coins and staking coins, you know, want a decent kind of reward. So it'd be interesting to see how this affects rewards and the price mainly of Syndicate going forward. I think the 70-30 split is fine. It's around that at the moment, so that doesn't seem to make a big difference. I don't think people are trying to exploit the seesaw algorithm anyway. It seems to be quite stable at the amounts we're getting for masternode and staking rewards. But this will be interesting, I think, particularly the masternode collateral. So if you are having 5,000, you know, in 2.5, 3, 4 months, whenever it is we reach this block number, your masternode will stop working. You're then going to have to generate a new transaction for 10,000 and put that into your configuration of the masternode. So there could be an initial kind of period where people that haven't been kept up to breast or haven't been keeping up to date with this, their masternodes kind of go offline, and there could be, you know, a potential for, if you've got masternodes that are live at the beginning of each of these kind of blocks, that you're getting really good kind of rewards because there's not many masternodes on the system. But going forward, either people are going to have to buy more coins to keep their masternodes kind of running. If you've only got one masternode at the moment, you know, there's no chance of you getting enough for 10,000 through masternode rewards between now and, you know, next few months when it goes live. So it'll be interesting to see how this does affect things going forward. I think, you know, moving up to sort of 25,000, I know the price isn't great at the moment for Syndicate, but, you know, I think in some ways it's quite nice to have a masternode coin where you only need 5,000. The price isn't kind of crazy. You know, a lot of people can afford it and are running masternode. So I think, you know, it's slightly negative. You see, I think, a bit of consolidation within some of the larger holders. But anyway, we'll see how things go over the next few months. And then the other one is this NAV update. So there was a live stream, YouTube live stream. There were a few issues with it cutting out and coming back on, but they talked about a lot of these updates, and there's a Medium article now which you can see here. I'll put the link to this in the description below, but it basically outlines the NAV new kind of like process, or the rolling out of the new versions of NAV Core over the next few months. So the biggest change in the next version will be the community fund coming into activation. Also in the next version, so this is 4.4.0, the amount that's going into the NAV fund per block is going to go up from 0.25 to 0.5, and that's in preparation for the next version rollout, which is 4.5.0, where there will be a fixed reward per block. So it's going to be a static reward of 2 NAV per block instead of the sort of like variable rewards that you can get at the moment. And it also brings brings stuff in line for cold staking addresses and stuff like that. So there's some quite interesting stuff in these kind of like new versions that are coming out over the next few months. But hopefully this is quite positive news, I think, for kind of NAV. They're bringing out the kind of community fund. I think a lot of those community fund sort of proposals which you'll be able to kind of vote on which ones get funded and not will go into marketing, hopefully, which is what we really need, I think, with kind of Navcoin in order to kind of push it to the next level. But interesting to see how that goes. So I'll put the link to that below. But some big changes for both Syndicate and Nav going forward over the next few months. Anyway, let's jump into the results for the last week. As you can see here, start at Navcoin at the top, so 6.85 coins worth $1.55. Syndicate 86.9 worth $4.11. Neutron 14.86 worth 39 cents. Neogas pretty much the same as always, 0.377916242 worth just over $2. Beancash 490 worth $1.44. Smart Cash 176.32 worth $4.40. Linda's gone up a little bit, the stake in the last kind of week, which is nice. We had that really poor couple of weeks, and it's increasing a little bit from that, so it's nice to see that going up again a little bit. And this is on a staking pool, obviously. That's 2,355.23 worth $2.46. Acroma 67.93. The rewards continue to squeeze down, I think, as more masternodes go onto the kind of network, but $3.01, so decent return there. Pivx had a few stakes this week, so 0.3 of a Pivx worth 27 cents. And then down at the bottom here, Shard 15.95. That again is on a staking pool. That's on the MyNode pool, same as the Linda staking pool, and that's worth 69 cents. So total this week of $20.35. That's down, I think, $2 on last week. It's a new low in terms of staking rewards. We've seen a little bit of a suppression in the price of, I think, Syndicate and Smart Cash over the week. The Smart Cash price seems to be coming back a little bit. It's been really negatively affected over the last few weeks, but it seems to be creeping back as of the last day or so. So hopefully the rewards for Smart Cash will be a little bit greater going forward. But everything else pretty much of a muchness. The price of gas is actually down a little bit this week, but the price of Neo is maybe up a little bit. So the amount we got for our gas this week, just $2. But yes, price of gas a little bit down on the last couple of weeks. But broadly speaking, most of these coins are exactly where they were, or broadly where they were a week before. And then if we jump over, I just want to mention here in the total worth. So I work out the total worth. That's the number of coins we have multiplied by the spot price at midnight last night. That gives the total worth of all the coins. But this doesn't affect, so you can see here that it's actually up almost $1,000 on last week. And the reason is that I've tweaked this slightly because it didn't take into account any realized profit. So when I sell coins, you'll see here Navcoin, I sold a chunk of Navcoin over the last week. And obviously that then brings the total coins down, the total worth down, but it's not a like-for-like comparison because I didn't take into account what those coins sold for. So going forward, this amount here will be the total the total current amount of coins multiplied by the spot price plus the realized profit for each of those coins. So I think it was about $400 worth of NAV coins. So that will be added onto the total worth here. So this figure will be a little bit easier to compare going forward. The trouble with the way I did it before was that if I sold off like a load of coins, this figure went down, but it didn't necessarily reflect the fact that the price of coins or anything were going down. So this reflects the price of the coins at that spot price of midnight last night plus the realized profit. Total staked, no changes there. On the weekly staked, obviously no changes there as well. And if we take a look at the total kind of profit loss, again, no real changes from last week. You'll see here just under $400 from the NAV coin in the realized profit now, which is coming off of the total kind of worth. But these figures broadly in line with where they were last week. I think we were down about 73% something last week, down 72.9%. So basically exactly the same as where we were the previous week. As I said, the price of coins hasn't really changed massively. We've been moving sideways over the last week, so therefore the results very much in line with the last week's. And then if we jump over to the staking rewards, we can see down a fraction on last week, so down $1 or $2 on last week's. The price of both Syndicate and Smart Cash is down a little bit, and as I said, the price of gas is down a fraction, which accounts for that. But the amount of staking has been broadly in line with what we've been staking the last few weeks. And jumping into this figure, so this graph is now including the realized profit. So this is the total amounts, and I've updated this so we can see we're actually up a little bit on the previous week. So some of the coins have gone up a fraction. I think NAV had a reasonable kind of week, and NEO went up again a little bit last week as well. So a little bit of an increase, nothing kind of crazy, but a fraction up, maybe a couple of $100 on where we were the week before. But anyway, that's it for this week. No big changes in what I've been doing. As I said, I've sold a few NAV coin, but that's really it for this week. I will put the links below to the NAV article on Medium, so you can read that if you have NavCoin and you want to read about the changes going forward. And these updates, this was just in the Telegram group, so if you want to read a bit more, hear people's impressions of what they think about this going forward, check out the Telegram group. It's far more active for Syndicate than the Discord group, which is quite unusual, but almost all the discussions on Syndicate going on in the Telegram group rather than the Discord group. You can find the links obviously on the websites as always. Anyway, that's it for this week. Thanks very much for watching. Ask me any questions below. I'll be interested to know your impressions on these updates for both Syndicate and NAV, what they've announced. Let me know in the comments below what you think about these, and if necessary we'll talk a bit more about them in the next week or so. But anyway, have a great week. Thanks again for watching, and hopefully I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.